Welcome to 52 Drinks in 52 Weeks, and today we are talking about the unofficial national drink of India, Old Monk. I'm pretty sure all of us have our favorite drinking story around Old Monk, but just to set the record straight, bust all myths, and put some facts in place, let's do this story for once and for all. We'll try also to connect the dots between how the British, the Italians, Jallianwala Bagh massacre, and India's first Prime Minister, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, are a part of making of this drink.
So the story begins with two English breweries, the Dyers and the Meakins, which existed in India, and at some point they merged. In 1947, once the English left, N. Mohan stepped in and took over the two breweries as a combined entity in 1949, and they were also distilling by then. And Mr. Mohan also acquired a piece of land of about 250 acres, not far from Delhi in Ghaziabad, where he established Mohan Nagar, which was a small township and an industry, and then schools and housing and hospitals followed, and it became a city with its own pin code, and now it also has its own metro connection. However, the first bottle of Old Monk was not made here. It was made by Colonel V.N. Mohan, who was Mr. N. Mohan's son, and it was in Lucknow.
That's true. And later, in the next year, the drink was brought into market in 1955. However, the bottle says it was established in 1855 because that's when Dyer and Meakin, the two brewers, came together. And not much has changed in the spirit itself since its early inception. The secret recipe is still guarded by the family. The cap remains the same, the bottle remains the same, and even the label remains the same. And talking about the recipe, the only thing that we can share with you is it is 100% column still molasses-based spirit, which has a little bit of cane juice added to it as well.
Regarding the bottle and the label, well, three things can be said. First is the triple X, which you'll see on it. Now, back in the day when rum was traveling in barrels, an X was marking a barrel to show a journey to Europe. 3X has meant that it had made 3 journeys, which showed a lot of potential in the quality of the product. Old Monk never traveled that way. However, so this is a more connotation of quality. The word vatted similarly connotes quality of an international stature. Most interesting is the name, Old Monk. It does not come, as many people believe, from Gumnami Baba, and it is certainly not a tribute to Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. In fact, Mr. Mohan had seen Italian monks and heard about their dedication to making spirits and liqueurs, so he fashioned the name Old Monk, old denoting quality as well, as a tribute to them.
The only two changes that have probably come from the early inception of this drink are first that earlier the label had some vats, the picture of vats on the label, but our excise probably didn't like it and they had to remove that eventually. And the second, the change of name from Dyer Meakin to Mohan Meakin. The story goes in 1964-65, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was traveling to Shimla. He stopped at the Solent distillery, which is within the brand itself, and he saw on the gates the name Dyer Meakin. Now, Edward Dyer, who actually created the brewery early in the day, he is also the father of General Reginald Dyer, who ordered the shootings for the Jallianwala Bagh massacre. And owing to that story, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru suggested the family a change in the name, and they obliged.
That's how the Mohan Meakin distillery Mohan Meakin was formed. And there was no marketing needed because this legendary fable does all the job. Well, in the millennium, the things might have changed and some marketing may have come in, but all said and done, 8 million cases of Old Monk make its way outside of India for sales every year, irrespective, even today. And apart from, as Gagan already said, they also make solo #1 whiskey and Old Monk 10,000 super beer for very special markets in India.
And they don't only make dark rum, they also make white rum in 3 different variants, which is lemon, orange, and apple. And not just that, they're also trying their hands at RTDs with the Old Monk and Cola, with the cranberry and the mojito flavor as well. Go to any restaurant or hotel and ask for a coffee-based cocktail based on Old Monk dark rum, and you'll be surprised how well it works.
So let's do something that most people have never done before. Let's taste Old Monk neat, shall we? You have the bottle, right? Which one do you have?
I have the traditional, the legendary one, which is called the very old vatted Old Monk rum.
I had this one also. I thought I'll show it. So this is a very peculiar one. This is a small size of the regular monk's head, and it is the monk's head. It is not Mr. Mohan's head or a Dyer or a Meakin head. This is the monk as a tribute. Although with this, it looks a bit like a Sardarji. But anyways, we're not going there. Having said, this is supposed to be a more refined version. And for me, nonetheless, whichever cola you go with, that's my choice for ice and thumbs up. So that's my rite of passage in college. And but today we'll do something different, Gagan, as you suggested. Let's do it neat.
Yeah, let's do that. So from the first smell, it smells a little sweet. It's got a burst of vanilla and butterscotch. There is a tinge of that oakiness as well. But overall, it's just a nice, easy drinking rum style rum, and that's what it is.
I think it's that sweetness, that vanilla butterscotchy burst right up front, very ripe, very dark, plummy fruits. I'm just thinking that maybe I should just start having it neat from now on. And also, I think Thumbs Up is more expensive per bottle of Old Monk when you start making cakes. As a scholar student,
that's right. Yeah. We don't do it with Thumbs Up. So after my treks and mountaineering, when we come back to civilization, we are always looking for Old Monk dark rum, but we always try and drink it with hot water or just with water, or if in case it's too cold, we just go the army style, drink it neat. But there is this caramelized, burnt caramel sort of an aftertaste, which is so endearing. And I think you mentioned once in one of your articles that this is sort of like the Indian rendition of Jack Daniels, or the same repute as that, isn't it?
Yep. Like people in colleges abroad go and have Jack Daniels as the rites of passage. I think here in India, you go to college, at some point you're introduced to alcohol in a good or a bad way, and Old Monk will be through you all your exams and practicals and whatnot, no matter what stream you choose. So that was your story.
It's not just the kids, it's also the parents. Once the bottles are empty, I think as a nostalgia and legacy, all these parents, they have at least one money plant that is put in the Old Monk bottle, isn't it? Yeah.
Lamps, money plants, that's right. Yeah, or painting on the bottles. Yes, Old Monk has been famous for many things that way. So guys, that was our story with Old Monk. Gagan shared his trekking journeys. I think it's rites of passage for anybody in college or even otherwise. If you have an Old Monk story and one that you're willing to share with us and with the rest of us, just leave it in the comments. We'd love to read it, love to know more about it. And let's keep celebrating, as Gagan said, India's unofficial, official spirit. Cheers, guys.
Cheers to that.